if you there's some audiobooks and shit in the background, so that's why you could probably get it here. If it's a bit too, my mic's a bit too sensitive. They're gonna try honey trapping his ass with Paulina. Okay.
off and I stood there at a loss what to do. Her mother was making absolutely no effort to stop her daughter hearing her convicted of diabetes with her psychological attack. I mean, oh so much. I've been rushed into my consciousness. Oh, see, you're not dead.
Let's get one. And dock. Oh wow. Calling for the single mom. Yeah, this is definitely fantasy. Honey decade. What level are you at? It'll be you. So tired. Go. Wait. You do not have to. I'll be trying to. Wait. Don't get it. I'll walk into your compound singing. What's the... I'm good. Industrial.
I'm strange, because the bats in my belfry occasionally demand strange actions out of me. I chuckled cheerfully at the reaching of the boxes. I was starving, so I kept opening boxes until there was enough food on the table. Taking boxes, well, the spread of various colors, and the girl running, uproar, wild, bucket. She said, nodding, I guess she wanted to ask or say something, but I didn't give her a chance. Instead, rising and making me run to the shower. As I stood there in the shower, I couldn't understand why this happened to me. What the hell was I doing? Why did I leave an apartment? Why did I rent an apartment?
Honestly.
Nothing like this had ever happened to me before. Now I experienced such a change. Perhaps it was the system. school, I took a quick look at the real-world tools. The students resisted. But they clocked that I accelerated up, wanted to be closer. A couple emerged from behind the last and into the zombies' formation. The zombies roused and stumbled, began to burn, and set off to the shift of the European colors. When she saw the zombies, the girl tripped over and fell flat on the face of the car. As she did so, her cat and as she was walking without back to terror. I cursed her silently and produced my bow. As I was popping off the first 5 zombies, the tools just kept on running around. The strange sort of received that I did not receive this but felt his like the promised deeper and living off. It's easy to just shoot targets and us but not chasing them. And it's even easier to hunt than one. I discovered this as I cast an eye on its movement. I continued to fire at the zombies until I was sure the couple had run far enough to be out of danger. That's the kind of bizarre, invisible hero I was, to act like that out of sheer boredom. I gathered my loot, which was left to write home about, 2 gray boxes and 1 red one. Still, I had to warm up. And now it was time to go kill some people. Crunching an apple, I sat on the curb opposite the gas station at quite a small park. The window blind was down and it was weapons. I wasn't convinced even the car. It is a car. But I had come to find the gas station. But extremely, I shot my no presence. I do not remember the or all the shit dog or what sense. Not like too crazy, unguarded, vicious, but people with weapons and bottles of booze in their hands wandered to and fro along the road. Their merry laughter constant, and their shouts of upside down. They it's not like a condition of escape, which is not pain and covered with bloody spots. It's not growing, always in their eyes, without it once over the station. 47, half hours, I saw them leave down the zombies without the boxes. Their method was quite interesting. One of them would keep throwing a lasso at a zombie until the noose landed around its neck. Then they would hoist it up onto the roof and kill it, before throwing the body back down. It was certainly bad method, but it would soon create a mountain of corpses rolling up the wall of the gas station, which would allow the rest of the monsters to walk by. As I chewed my apple, one then felt the urge to go to the toilet. Without thinking, he heaved himself off the zombies below, clawing his feet. I took my phone, fixed it up, took it, the fan, very long, stashed about 50 pieces of comrades immediately rushed to his side, with non-comprehension, first at the arrow and then at him, while he could find out the name. Well, what could possibly happen? Then one of the man wearing camouflage fatigues called carefully to the edge and looked over in search of the archers. Evaluation. The guy in fatigues took his right hand and searched for something faint. What the? I wasn't there. What? Hey. Another man ran downstairs and the bedroom was closed. He received a slap on the face with his knuckle, but the man noticed evaluation. Search for lights. Attractive. The spheres could not see me. That was bad. They didn't even come anywhere near me, which meant they were useless and not the sphere not finding anyone. Relax. They rose from the squad and see the evidence. Talking to the person. I did not hear what they were talking about. I quickly began to shower in response, they began to fire random all over the place. You have killed a survivor. The capacity of your inventory is increased by this ability. By 1.5.
Going inside in this time.
I'll sit here and wait for 30 minutes. While I was waiting, I opened a couple of trinket caskets, of which I had collected a fair number. I did not want to be seen with them in the room, nor did I want to have to answer a bunch of bothersome questions, and there was little enough space left in my inventory. Something heavy to drop. I would have to leave it. I took up the blue casket, hoping it would produce something useful. You received fact card number 117. The assortment of rewards increases with time, just like danger in this room. Not really, although was useful. You received fact card number 456. On the trading platform, it is impossible to buy or sell skill points. You may only exchange them for other skills. That might be, although I didn't know where to find the trading point. I guessed the trading point might be able to help me, but I hadn't gotten around to evaluating it yet. Fact card number 5. Killing with fire gives 80% less consistent. People know what they that's pretty much by far so far I've not had this whole time.
Yeah, the reason why you're struggling is to be nourished.
Feeling up the survivor, unlucky enough to be walking past the station. I wanted to kill as many of them as I could from where I was, since it was sternly impossible to get inside the station, and I was feeding in enclosed spaces. Fine, I would wait, and in the meantime look for red trinket boxes. You receive a card. Third, you receive a card. Disposable crossbow, loaded with a full explosive bolt.
Ooh.
Crystal was in no way inferior to mine, but at the moment of impact, the body had broken into small particles.
Making it hard to trade.
It was scary to even imagine such an arrow entering an enemy's body. It was not a weapon for zombies, rather geared towards the elimination of sentient entities. I decided not to produce the blink, since it appears that instead I conquered myself with fire. It's level 2 status. Upon striking its target, it explodes. I took out the coin and examined it again, but still saw nothing. Instantly, I nodded. Evaluation. A trading coin, which permits 24 hours access to the trading ladder. To activate the coin, you must toss it. You do not have to catch it. Bingo. So that was it. And there was me, rubbing it, biting it, even begging it to activate. What's all this? I have to cancel all. This is not something to think that. Anyway, I hope you want to be everything once more. Yes, it's fine. I made my decision. Like, no, yeah. And trading platform time for 3 hours, 59 minutes. Stop. A bad something. And it takes over on my mind in an old week. My eyes on I click on it and it is I'm not supposed to although since it was saying I had to change my name, it was I didn't know how to change my name, so I simply said, I want to choose the name Bard. A window popped up with a response. New name accepted. From now on, your name is Bard. You received 1 trading. Thank you. Problem. The coin would definitely be handy, but right now I was more concerned with the trading platform. The operation of the night is gripped with one eye for the gas station. It took me an hour to the first and most important thing was that all the items and parts could be exchanged, which meant that all the other equipment were useless to me and we called it all sold. Next, we got to use all of this. We could put any item up for exchange, name the price we exchange. There's no fun. Maybe I just had to have the relevant information. You could also try it to exactly. And so I completed my first purchase, which was immediately deposited in my inventory. Someone had posted a card saying, basic arrows, 55 pieces, will exchange for boxes. I offered 3 boxes and they were simply needed. There were many surprises, not least the number of units I didn't recognize, which bore no description. In fact, none of them bore a description. And if you hadn't come across something before, you wouldn't know what you were buying. The only thing that would help you was logic. The main currency here was boxes of food and bullets. It seemed people had become used to this useless, in my opinion, weapon after all, choosing effectiveness over quality. A firearm truly was a killer bit of kit, I couldn't deny it, but I also couldn't ignore its disadvantages. You had to be able to use such a weapon properly. And what about the scarcity? What did you do? That firearm but that did not necessarily another item like checking the rest they're heavy. The idea of archer is and some the cancellation was accompanied by a notification. The armor costs 30 boxes.
Oh, look at this.
The armor and decided to happen. I wanted to send him I can't move on. She really needed that armor. I weighed up the pros and cons for 10 minutes, coming to the conclusion that nobody was exempt from a random bite, and it was worth being prepared for such a situation. Very well, you greedy bastard, it is. And I sent him the boxes. He purchased 1 minute thinking it was fine with me, since he had played God knows how long merely to be informed of the cancellation. The exchange went successful. This is continuing. and my inventory was credited with armor while the boxes disappeared. I unpacked this away to see what I could see. I examined the armor. It was one, and made of tough yet flexible leather that you could not resist. Even such a thing to raise the style should not covering all of the chest and back without even a hint of protection on the shoulders and arms. Of course, it was entirely possible that here, just as it was making, it was never going to be able to be set and it has to need to be solved separately. My protection becoming more comprehensive as I was used to not using it. The armor was easy to follow, with the exception of the unusual conic things down the inside, which required pulling and tightening. I did not, however, don it. Not because of the zombies wandering around, the people in the gas station, but because of my doubts concerning its quality. First, I hung it on a wall, stepped back 20 yards, and took out my bow to conduct an experiment. I fitted an arrow, drew the bowstring, not tight, but enough to kill, and let loose. The arrow struck the middle of the arm, pretty much where the heart would be, and did not pierce it, leaving only a small scratch. The evidence suggested that the armor or protection had passed the test. I was not, of course, going to repeat the experiment with my pistol, for it was clear using it would change. When I managed to get a hold of the second cell, then I conducted the distance test. I was over a teacher. All I had to do was I ran to go and push-ups. Sure enough, did not restrict my movements. For the final test, I shot it. Everything went the section was not hot and clear. Let's make another hand on the floor. There was certainly a lot of water. Everything remained in the box. And I only had to hand the gray, hot red. That meant when I opened the trading platform, I was dumbstruck to the very core of my bizarre and avaricious soul. There were such unbelievable quantities of stuff I needed that I wanted to buy everything at once. Only now that I understand just how weak I was, wallowing in my little swamp, deluded that invisibility would save me in my hour, and that I'd be invincible if only I had 100 arrows in reserve. Right now, in front of my very eyes, someone sold me 100 arrows, and I didn't even get to see the price he sold them. Holy crap, 500! That meant me somewhere in the world was an asshole not even different zombie friends and arrows. Instead, it's all no, that's without wasting time gathering some arrows, but instead I only managed to find 200 arrows, at which point I ran out. And now that's taking down zombies in the gas station. Zombies inside. Others were not fighting. The gas station was eventually decided to send someone out to my mood by now was so wretched that an arrow immediately got him right in the eye. However, even that did not cheer me up, so it was clearly time to skedaddle. The system sent me notification of and a reward for my killing of a person I did not care for. You have killed a survivor. The capacity of your inventory is increased by 2 million. I swatted like a pest of the water. On his mouth, that I had more than one thing to do. I want to swiftly assure you. I won't be able to sleep. I'm wasting time. finally got to it. As we scoured the place inside, we made 4 others. One is on these platforms about. They were supposed to break out and shredded the door and fall. Building essentially narrow screen, more or less hidden from sun. I knew how to fix that. The balcony door was old, plastic, and easily opened by an empty shoulder chute. That was it. The first thing I saw was a sideboard full of property. Excellent. I opened it and unloaded everything in my inventory. I returned to the balcony and probably put the box down the top. Sure enough, upon hearing the rain place and all these birds in my direction, I found more property.
Dude, come on.
Those ranks began to thin, and those that remained began to wander off into the situation. But I cast off my invisibility and turned around and came back again. The only thing I could love in this world was shooting and had not something happened. Here was a slow-moving zombie in a plaid shirt with a name. He'd probably been a store clerk before the chaos began, and now he was plotting toward me to receive an arrow in the head. It was a and here came a girl who walked through in one of the front pages of fashion magazines, but was instead lying with an arrow protruding from her forehead. The system was merciless and did not choose who should remain alive and who should become a soulless piece. My eyes were drawn to the child. Seriously unlucky this flying zombie may arrive approximately 2 hours later, and I went up to the left. The gray dots were long up the middle, and they were other colors on the side. No, directly in front of me. My new problem was the lack of zombies. An idiot no human must be vaguely resourceful, and I was ready to do anything to fulfill my desires. I returned to the second, same apartment. Finding the music center, I stood by an open window and slammed it on and popped off. Any remaining survivors of the irritating problem? Irritating was over. I expected a fresh day with zombies and watched. I spent another hour killing zombies and called nothing's well, almost. I was standing there having just let fly with yet another arrow, when suddenly I heard a gentle whistle, and slightly to my left I noticed a moon, which was accompanied by a dull flood. Slowly, like in a cheap Hollywood film, I turned my head and saw a large, big dog, 10-centimeter long, sticking to the wall, right behind me. Myself to the right, I already got the start. My face was taken. And switched on and all only did
But
great, but I didn't want it to happen right at the start of this moment. I don't think it's begun to enjoy this new world and everything we have now.
why did you turn off your invisibility like a retard?
Cautiously.
He shot a bone at you.
Anything is possible. I launched my arrow at the zombie. I reckon the bow sensed my rage and supercharged the arrow, making it pass right through the zombie head before the beast even laughed away. There was no way I could run without those. The system changed not long ago that the zombie would follow me. I sat down on the bed and got out of box. I projected the box. The Snickers just short, and they also sweet chocolate. Just fired out without stress. And get finished eating. The system decided I hadn't had enough adventure for my attention. You are like the chance to be part of the special test. You have to fight against other survivors. Also, it's you may be let me keep you so what? There's no way I would no. Of course I accept. System, I accept. It was immediately obvious that the fight would involve only those acceptance. It would involve my and I found myself standing in some kind of arms and perhaps in 20 years' time, we're about to see after my head stops spinning, fished out the bottom of the water, held out of it, and thought it, satisfied and wasn't shaking, so attention, the test has begun. It will last for 1 hour. At the end of the test, any survivors will be transported back to where they came from, and those with the highest number of kills will receive a reward. Kills is one of the gentlemen talking about rewards. The visibility settled down smoothly over. Through my moment, I stepped a few paces away from where I followed and began scanning the area. Wagging his head a bit. A minute later, I was by and without using an arrow and frame it. No message was concerning not far away, I heard gunfire. It was. As we come to I in that direction, I had a good lookout all around. When I got to where the noise was coming from, an interesting picture met my eyes. 2 people shooting at each other from behind trees. One of them, a ginger lad wearing a bandana that did not make him conceal the color of his hair, stood with his back to me. An easy target and no stress kill. His that's the key. I wanted to rely on and stay to the first about it again. Where is your the man goes to easy graphics. That on somebody else is wrong. You get to be one yourself. And I wasn't looking at that. The second is not long process. I had absolutely no qualms about killing people here since they chose the rules of the game themselves. It was doubtful anyone had did that here by mistake. The system had given a distinct choice. Either you even a wounded arm or leg without a question. But Archer really wanted to himself. 3 days later, I moved across the Texas opponents. It made more serious. Only one guy bounced back. The other one was not only shooting across the opponents, but was while the second weapon shield shot possible. Then the attack but also other without vision What's this weirdo doing here? I noticed a familiar face who still thought no one could see him in invisibility mode. Surely Vecchia hadn't taken risks of adventure. How had he persuaded Combat to let him go? Vecchia came closer and hid behind the wide tree. He dropped to the ground and surveyed the valley. I had just decided to take the boat and try to make his way to someone else's continent. But just get back up and find the way. He dropped and decided to find himself in this I wasn't sure what the art of come back to this pause and try to know I didn't also mistake of something. Now that we're ready to get our ass like some storm as I struck the arrow. Now it's cunningly among the trees, and it's a tree he found himself pinned to. Just in case I let him have another 3 arrows, and only then did I approach him. I was interested in his dagger. Its form was interesting, and I might get lucky and get something useful. Dagger appeared level 2. Nothing in the stash of worked out like all this stuff. Again, that I finished off the third first, all the skull, all the My mind exploded, and in my ire, I drew a crystal-tipped arrow. She was so engrossed in killing the man that she wasn't keeping an eye out around her, and I would be able to kill her quickly and easily. But she had to be made aware of her mistake before she died. My arrow flew straight into her lower leg. The shaft immediately broke off on top of her, while the crystal was dispersed around all her wildly, rolling out the ground and intensely up. On no one is the prize on the inside. Up the station in front of the I sat down with the stop for the and the other interesting audience Been lucky enough to gain a useful skill, and without it, I'm not surprised. In fact, however, shoot this. I would have to ask Shot not to teach me just in case. It might come in handy later. On the other hand, the system might take offense and stop treating me favorably. The dead chick was bleeding so profusely I didn't want to go near her. She'd also caused such a ruckus that she was doubtless being observed from a distance. Perhaps it was worth me observing it too. I hope that I can ask ran out of fish close to the top. The space was covered in blood and right more importantly, there's no weapon to home. Next incident, one of my heroes was short rest. Someone himself to 3 people at once who were, in their turn, trying to surround him. They joined forces. A good tactic for survival, but not for victory. If they had firearms, Fedya would already be dead. As it was, they were armed with shields, swords, and spears, and Fedya appeared to be almost out of ammunition. Had it not occurred to the idiot to take a bleeding most of the good I wanted to this, then he turned his inventory and reorganized it. Not a system. Plus, he had these working about his chances on a and on top of which, even though all of this is now in serious trouble. There's no time for concentration. For Fedya, about the sex without distance and promises. One of his attackers is Fedya merely continues to watch this. The other guy, as he transpired, he was wearing chainmail beneath his clothes. He turned sharply in my direction, and only then did he stop from the second arrow entering his forehead. Did not like it when my arrows failed to find their target. The scumbag thought his chainmail would save him, but he forgot to wear a helmet. Although, judging by the number of trinket boxes dropping, that was not surprising. Not a single part of the problem for me. That's it, I keep my money. As I understood it, food was much more valuable than that. You cannot beat an alien without the problem. Show me, he's killed shooter, shouted the lad with all his speed. He now drew the sword and defended him. He cut his head with his hand. He's having a look at the guy with the sword was 5 meters further away than the spear was the person, but he ran to his friend's aid and forced him. For his friend was already taken to the bed. I was not with his nose well, I decided, and placed the arrow directly into the woman's heart. Now that it was one of his now, it would be a fair fight, as far as one outside of the album. He took me and I wasn't his He died, and then he was beaten. And if his opponent was, say, double five, together. While I was walking through the forest in search of my next victim, I noticed something. I was being convinced about light. That was not exactly later to the end of the system. was it on, the system switched on its ignore function.
Okay.
Yes. Lost communications. Footprints in this can be done. Also, just flat. It's headed to the sister and disrupted. In the process, Victor's lost an idea that he reflects in his last episode strength. Other enemies, smartest magic. I switched the advantage to jump out of the way, and I was forced to use my spear on one. He was not a lucky very well. The system promised to be part of the test. Yes. Never treated my spear as a test. If that was the case, I heard the arrival in fact, were their friends. The house was called intense. I asked them to dive down, shocked by my answer. It was very unusual. I spent this time zombies. There's a vision. The forest without blood was real monsters that only vaguely resembled zombies. I thought to myself, my old zombie friend who could shoot needles from his hands. These sports arrows. One of the zombies wandered in my direction, breaking and rushing aside. With a single kick, a small tree blocked his path. 3 meters tall, it had a body of monstrous bulging muscles, population's ugliest mob within the core of the trauma. All of them. Nobody can survive these monsters. I decided that since the opportunity presented itself, I had to at least try it. I shot an arrow right into the center of his chest, but it didn't penetrate me at all. The monster didn't give a shit. I didn't get a glimpse of the journey. He continued to march on its chosen target. Before she was I had not noticed this. The Hulk came tumbling towards the use of death and began to feebly chow down. What is this? The monster's tools were sharp, even his clothes were closeness as if they had chewed again. His little burns like a fruit by the water. Beginning to flatten with arrow after arrow. The first arrow sank firmly in its hip. The beast merely bent over slightly and drew air into its nostrils in an attempt to sniff out the location of the food source causing it pain. Only my thin arrow damaged the mouth. I hope such pieces were not things like that dropped down. Unfortunately, I would not be getting any this time because this was only a test. Then the situation changed dramatically. As I stopped playing the hunter and began doing my best to survive. Even though the zombies could not see me, too many of them had appeared in the forest, and the chances of accidentally bumping into one had profoundly increased. I now found myself doing precious little but trying to avoid them. With roughly 10 minutes to the end of the test, I was tired of running. and clambering up the nearest tree for a breather. By this time, I'd managed to kill 4 more survivors, although in truth, 2 of them I didn't really kill, rather gifted them an easier death than being eaten alive by monsters. The forest now called the slaughterhouse. The system had totally lost his mind and sent freaking loads of zombies, some of them occasionally crashing into my temporary sanctuary and receiving a swift arrow to the back. Apparently to touch my sanity. I discovered another kind of zombie I had not come across before. I called it a jumper, since it was a thin beast with large legs like a grasshopper, which enabled it to jump several meters. Right in front of my eyes, in one powerful leap, it caught up with an unlucky creature trying to run away, and they bit her, and so fast that I didn't have time to review it second. The only name I could possibly give this test was the Forest of Death. Although I didn't like it, bored of hunting down formless city zombies, I felt alive to find myself among powerful predators. I wasn't worried about not getting lucky or being killed at any moment. There were always bigger fish to find, which in my case was somebody with stronger skills. Test finished. Congratulations, you have survived. You will be transported back in 3, 2, 1. Once again, the world flickered momentarily and returned just as fast as it had disappeared. My head thrummed and my stomach rejected the last food I ate. Shoot, I ruined a clean carpet. But a satisfied smile crept onto my face, for I had survived and been able to return. My body was still shuddering slightly from the journey back. My reverie was interrupted by the system. Congratulations from the system, Guard. You killed the most survivors and take first place. As a reward, you receive yellow trinket casket, 1 piece, gray trinket casket, 1 piece, a choice, 1 of 3 mastery stones. Mastery stone, the thief of good. Important note, Brotato began his career as a thief 20 years ago and plied his trade right up until his death at age 30. He was executed by hanging on the royal square of Mastery stone, the paladin of Arctic. Important note, from a young age, Silvogardus, a paladin of the god Argus, learned to use the sword and shield. He preached the word of his god
It's
until his
goofy.
death at age 20.
The
He
dark
died
spell.
of unrequited love when he found his sweetheart in bed with another. After killing them both, he took his own life by skewering his heart on his sword. Mastery stone, called Nern. Important note, called Nern was a rank-and-file archer in the service of the city of Ursa. He learned his trade on the job in battle for a whole 7 years. He died during the siege of his native city of Ursa, when a stray enemy arrow pierced an artery in his leg. You have 60 seconds to make your choice. Attention! An additional reward has been sent to all surviving participants according to merit. The capacity of your inventory is increased by 62 kilograms. The system baffled and delighted me simultaneously. I didn't know where to begin. Inventory, extremely cool. But what were these mastery stones? Since the system had informed me of all these people's professions and how long they've spent studying their trades,
He's a archer,
there
dude.
must be books of some sort. System, I choose number 3, the archer. The paladin was also not a bad choice, so this achievement was pretty to go by, but an idiot paladin is something I definitely did not need. It might be a disciple coming to serve you. You might have made your choice, and your reward has been transferred to your inventory. I was lost for words. I didn't know what to think or what to grasp at. Geez, my inventory was now 114 kilograms. Not in vain had I felled so many people, though I could have felled more. I wonder if Fenja survived, and if he got a reward, or do they only give them for first place? Anyway, I picked up the gray trinket casket and turned it over in my hands. Evaluation. The gray trinket casket provides food with special properties. I opened it and saw another notification. You receive a dark hair. Evaluation. A dark hair enhances your night vision. I saw no point in keeping it on ice, so I ate it. My eyes became teary, my vision blurred, and my nerves stressed. The air would not do me any harm. In a couple of minutes, my vision corrected itself, but I perceived no difference. I would have to check it again. Then the Mastery Stone made its way into my hand. A regular small stone, similar to an emerald, nothing special, yet giving off no terrible vibes. Evaluation. A Mastery Stone transfers the abilities harnessed in it to whoever activates it. I wanted a drink. I seriously wanted a drink. My hands began to shake. Had I seriously gotten so lucky as to receive archery skills from a person from another world? Damn, that was very cool. I hoped he was a dude. That's something for him to know. His abilities were not fit. In terms of personalities, this was up there with my invisibility. Without giving the potential consequences a second's thought, I activated the stone. I saw pictures, lots of pictures, so many that my head began to hurt. The world began to hurt. My head was already splintered, as from 1,000 needles driven into it, yet the pictures did not desist. I did not know how much time passed, but it seemed like an age. My ears popped, my nose bled, I felt nauseous, but the visions did not leave me, flashing before my eyes in quick succession. A variety of shots, combinations of firing techniques, among other things. No concrete faces or names, just a bow, another archery parallel. My muscles were terribly sore. It seemed they were swollen and threatening to tear my skin and leap out. Then everything stopped. When I snapped out of my reverie, I was on my bed, my breathing labored, a dull ache throughout my body. It was a mystery how I managed to make it as far as the bed. I lay there and smiled. Ye gods, words could not describe how bad that I felt. I had previously considered myself a good archer. Now I wasn't going to be called an archer at all. As I looked up the description, the archer called the nerd was a orangutan guardsman, but his marksmanship was something else. Shooting through obstacles in the dark, his reflexes, his reaction to sound, and that was to say nothing of his marching fire. He would make mincemeat of our very finest bowmen, with one eye closed and one arm behind his back. And the best thing was that all his abilities had now been combined, and all that he had been able to do, I was never able to do. Evidently, strength came not from skill itself, but from stones such as this. It would be good to find the stone of a champion archer with 200 years training behind him. I smiled bitterly and thought, shoot, give me a stone like that now and my head would just burst. First, I needed to level up. I could think about stones later. Right now, it was too dangerous. Speaking of levels, the system holding back in my next one might at least give it for the sake of appearances. My body was awful, and I understood why. It was absolutely not geared for the skills that Paul Nerd had possessed. He had trained his body every day, year upon year, and participated in dozens of battles. I felt that any bow shot might tear the shit out of my ligaments, and there was no way of knowing how long it would take to recover. I urgently needed to get home to chill and get some sleep. It was also worth opening the skill test. Not wanting to put it off, I picked one up and opened it. You receive a skill. Regeneration, level 2. This is the gift of making your life system just what I need, and very useful in the future. I had no time whatsoever to treat my various cuts and grazes, but this skill would help me enormously. Evaluation. The skill of regeneration will help your body heal its wounds and recover the integrity of its skin color. At higher levels, someone with this skill is very hard to cure. Excellent. In fact, just what anyone would. On this note, I left the dorm and headed home to my apartment. On the way, I killed approximately 70 zombies for every one. Gave me the next level, glitched the system, and kept them. You can gain level 6. Your body has become stronger, and your eyesight. I only killed the zombies with my spear, trying to take out the loners that stood in my way. Now it was beautiful to hold the spear in my hands, but I don't shoot a bow. I cannot shoot. My head still.
Oh, now I can imagine you get dumped on by these random ass bandits in this apartment because
By
we.
the time I got back to the anthill, it was dark. Solitary gunshots could be heard, and even more corpses littered the yard. Ye gods, how painful it was to walk up the stairs. On reaching my apartment, I stopped in my tracks. It had been broken into. The door smashed wide open. Entering was risky, but what was I to do? My curiosity and desire to rip out the throat of whoever had burgled me outweighed the risk. I entered cautiously, trying not to make excess noise. The entire apartment was carpeted, so the floor didn't squeak like floorboards, which was a good thing. My invisibility also concealed sound, but I was not yet 100% correct with its properties. My spear I held in the ready, despite the bare-faced intruders at any moment. But it turned out surplus to violence, as did my disposable crossbow, which I would have used without compunction. He will pay for the murder of our brother, you bastard. Declared sign carved on the wall with red spray. So, they were looking expressly for me. Lucky. How did they know I killed somebody's brother if I didn't even know myself who I killed? It went without saying the weapons I left were gone. The weapons of a shield bearer killed in my apartment. I could also conclude my identity from documents. And my passport and a pile of personal effects. The bastards had taken everything. What was I going to do now?
It doesn't matter.
Where was I to rest my weary bones? I was dead on my feet and legs, and it was now pitch black outside. Which reminded me, my night vision had improved massively. That was for sure. Excellent. The pair had turned out to be particularly useful. It was risky to remain in the building, since they might come back during the night. But what if they had kick-ass skills? I was in no state to fight off anyone. Yeah.
Just sleep up in the ceiling.
Somehow I wanted to go wandering around the dangerous city at night. Well, I logged onto the trading platform and entered in the filter garbage can. It was quite a rare item sold by just 2 people. One charged 120 gray boxes per paper. The second, a system that went higher than level 1. As far as I was concerned, they were both idiots if they were exchanging such a dope item for such junk. Oh, yes. The blade was the only thing I could think of, which was a pity, as it looked pretty good. Never mind. Screw it. Night vision was more important than a weapon I might never use. I responded to the offer with my blade of Hosh level 2 card and waited. I was making the whole 15 seconds. The seller was probably in two minds whether to accept or not, but in the end, the blade went to him and the pair to me.
Yeah, I'll take
I
a
shoved the pair on the spot and got a new notification. Your night vision has improved. The world had indeed become a tad lighter. Shoot, if my night vision were to become indistinguishable from my day vision, would I be able to get a decent night's sleep? Although, sacrifices had to be made for the sake of strength. I left the anthill and shuffled back in the direction of the soldiers' door. Zombies did not sleep even at night, and cubbies out there ran past me. I was beginning to get the impression they had begun to set out ambushes. A zombie jumped up to the second floor of the building, and, clinging onto the ledge with the claws of one hand, hammered the window with its free hand until it smashed. I was just thinking the end was nigh when the zombie was torn to pieces by a blast from the shotgun which appeared out of the window. Then, attracted by the loud noise, 4 beasties came running to the building from all sides. It wasn't too far to walk, but in the dark I occasionally had to slow down to let zombies pass. It was a good job I didn't come across any giant monsters, otherwise I would have been toast. On top of everything, I was slow in my body, which regeneration was scarcely coping with. I hoped to be fresh as the daisy tomorrow, one day after. Without regeneration, I'd be out of the game for a good week. As I walked, I saw a toy store and hatched a simple plan. Take as many toys as I could in order to buy my freedom from Liza. While she was torturing them, she could not be simultaneously torturing me. I was a genius. I began loading my inventory with soft toys and dolls and various sizes. Then I took some radio-controlled cars, except they were for me, Liza had always wanted one. In another section, I came across quadcopters and took a dozen of the most expensive ones. It was odd they hadn't been looted already, despite evidence that zombies had been consumed. The gaming consoles were in the farthest section. I was not overly familiar with them since I'd always been too broke to afford them, so I took a variety, along with 100 discs. My inventory was now over half full, and it wasn't being covered. It was time to leave. Otherwise, I would have to create a store of children's toys and other girls, and I was no idiot. If I locked up now with piles of toys, I would have nothing to keep my eyes off like I played. You always have to have a plan. It was another 20 minutes to the dorm, and I decided to take a small detour. Long before the end of my meetings. I once visited a hardware store in this area to check out renovation materials, but on seeing the prices, I decided I wasn't a renovation kind of guy after all. The store was shut, and shut inside was a zombie that couldn't get out. When he turned, the store detective had no doubt gone on a bit of a rampage, smashing up everything in sight and becoming trapped by falling down water pipes and other heavy stuff. I summoned my spear and smashed the window. A dozen zombies immediately came running but could not see me. Carefully, so as not to cut myself, I climbed inside and approached the store detective. He was an elderly man in an old black uniform with a sew-on badge declaring security. He wasn't making too much noise, just hissing and clacking his teeth, but his bones were all fractured, what with his being crushed. Even as a zombie, he hadn't been able to break out of his iron trap. A spear to the head cut his suffering short, and now I was the only survivor in the store. I had around 50 kilograms of free space, which I intended to fill with various items. On a rack hung some interesting tools. I sampled 5 handsaws, 1 chainsaw, several hammers and screwdrivers, and some other bits and pieces. I also found window grills, the very thing for my new apartment. The problem with the keys was the complete, not one. So I could take no more than 5 with this hardware. Every month I would take what I could manage, which included a couple of packets of large gauge nails and screws to hold the grills firmly on the window. As I left the store, I promised myself to come back tomorrow. On the way to the dorm, I said to thinking, why was I doing this? Why was I making an apartment habitable in a place occupied by lots of people? I seriously didn't like people. It's a question I couldn't answer. No doubt I was
Buddy trap.
all this may be too strange to things I didn't understand. But helping that lies in it. Why didn't know. Perhaps the answer was and I simply believe a child would suffer because of it. I created a real one-dimensional apartment, which, as a result, it lost. And all because I just happened to be close by. Only they hadn't asked some stupid questions. Constantly trying to draw me into conversation. Feel quite important. Probably. Chapter 13. In the yard behind the dorm, it was peaceful and fun. The entire area was bright and brilliant, however, it was not in the state of the town. All the place was out of the entrance was surrounded by barricades unsafe for zombies, but it would make it easy to crawl up. The soldiers had simply chucked piles of junk. I made a few entries quickly by calling it the table was empty. It's reasonably clean and equal, but a bunch of crap like the company. I not quietly observed the guard's reactions. They exchanged frightened glances and began whispering to each other. But my daughter was simple. They realized they had been hearing things and eventually reacted. One scanned off somewhere while the second I got some bar, and getting on his telephone to get a message. Accompanied by some fire. The colonel snapped and whispered. I snapped back, similar to fire. But when I saw myself, I was looking at the actor, some fire. But it's not the same. It's not that side. And the invitational gesture saying, it's following the course of my business, and my eyes fell on the shoulder. It's up at your shoulder, I asked, nodding at his blood-red hand. It's straight through his neck. He waved it away. We set off on the stairs. If you brought me to my office, I have a dress. It's kind of hard to answer. I have noticed something. It's probably the first. I'm going to ask him why. Not fitness by the house is fine. My apartment perfect, I explained. And not respond to previous one. It take a long time to find it when I'm drained. Yeah, everyone is kind of hard. It's actually how hard. So it's the soul of the life. Just happens to be okay. Relax.
Come here, kids.
Without giving me the chance to come up. You may be a student, but it doesn't make no benefit. It's also my dagger brought it like Christian's brother. Young man stepped in. How hard. He's not going to be so aggressive. You have no enemies. He said. And the colonel laid a placating hand on my shoulder. With a grimace, I slowly moved back to the bed. My entire body was hurting so bad that I wanted to roll. I was sure I'd be crippled if I was forced to demonstrate my powers again anytime soon. Maybe our dogs should have some special comments. Staring at me, it's not cooking. No, I just didn't. Sometimes you got to be systems. I have never been something unpleasant and very remarkable message. Although they might know it's all My question sounded confused, but combat understood well enough. 7 civilians died for the children, more than plenty were injured. Who was it? They attacked firing. It's a question unanswered. What state of its connected This is really hard with this. Hop in. We'll have a chat. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find any arrows.
Yeah, because you're probably using guns, aren't you?
I'll come see you tomorrow just as soon as I'm up to it. As it transpired, everybody did the best. The mastery stone had wrecked all of my hands, and now I'm ready to cover. I'm going to shook my hand left despite as I my reflected on the company. At first glance, it seemed directed, offering me accommodation and help. This work is work. The fact that the earnings like accommodation are already 7 o'clock. I was hoping that people felt these forces trust. Now, when I smile and reaction. I managed to surprise her. The simple smile did not disappear from her face. How was it? She admitted, smiling back. There was a test. No, not much. I was so accustomed to running around among zombies that I'd ceased to pay attention to my scent. Now I was embarrassed. I breathed the smell. It occurred to me now that my armor needed washing. Unfortunately, it didn't have a self-clean. Only that that is my torment. She said, now I'm thinking more of it. I had no spare clothes and I'm exhausted. But, don't you lies in me. Oh, yeah, you're probably our guest. The owner of the home is all I sat silently amidst the enemies of my supervisor. Liza seized up, almost with questions, and simultaneously telling me. The most noteworthy was how frightened she was of the her mom was she came back. But she had always which made me sob from the front up. I felt a twinge in my heart. Liza, listen. I brought you something. I took the toys out of my inventory. Liza, her mouth agape with surprise, looked on the light as toys appeared out of thin air. Throwing her arms around me. I wanted to draw back, but didn't manage in time and lost the battle. But at best, those all were in our home. Yes. Standing on the street, and standing watching. Starving the person in a couple of bites, and they would snap a tree to them like a matchstick. Again, my hip turned away, turned back to us, and I was laughing quietly. Oh, I get it. You wanted to drive me insane in order to inherit the apartment, proclaiming my version of their reason for conflict. Our secret is out, Liza, run! Laughing gaily, they ran towards her. Leaving me alone, I go. Is this your system? Did you give them a task to drive them towards sociopaths? Slowly they left the plain clothes she brought. And I knew her captors. I headed to grabbing the bucket. In the shower, I was fast to wash off the bottom of the pages. Water, black, all the tops now covered in snow. As I washed, all of the Well, I have said what I was going to have cooking. How did you say? And I asked for this starving. I'm starving. The yummy aroma affected not just me, but also most Liza ran from her room and sat down at the table. I looked at her and said, by the way, Clark,
Just say, don't tell her her name.
Ouch, I'm not hurt. And I'm Liza, and you also knew that already, the child added. We ate, and we tried to converse, despite resistance. And at last, I made you kiss. Felina took me by the hand, and her touch was like a shock, rendering me incapable of defying. She led me to the bedroom for 3 minutes, once in, and 2 double. Liza jumped into the tub, disrobed beneath the covers, and crawled back out to the pajamas. I was shocked. What? We're going to sleep in the same room? I uttered, scarcely able to speak. Of course. Felina didn't understand my concern. It's much safer that way. We have already slept in the same room. Or did you not? She did. Great sound of this. Adopted a stone-faced expression, turned to the older as I see the possible twitch on my face, and right now I was in the enemy turned to grab. The only thing stony for me is that it's not things. Damn it. I accepted the inevitable and crawled into bed, turning demonstratively away from the girls to face the wall, offended. Pardon me, I heard Liza say, immediately, and I drifted off. Chapter 14. I have been impressive, I said, addressing all of his presents and placed the quad covers on the table. I don't know what's going to find myself alone in the bedroom, and taste the smells off the end of the living room. Nina and Liza were playing the table, and my arm was moving together. The clock said 9 a.m. How would they manage to do so? Frankly, it would have been a massive hassle to wake up so early and get so busy. The girls were of some exceptional conversation. And except for tasting breakfast, I slipped out of my cupboard. I did not like but unfortunately, he didn't always get the choice. I found him in his office, which had been crowded since early morning, and as I thankfully, sincerely, that stowed somewhere. It will be time. Badger replied. Snigger. What's up with him, Combat? Why is he so chirpy at this early hour? Considering he'd almost died very recently, I did not understand his joy. Combat wiped his temples wearily and took a plug of tea. Paid no attention. Medya expanded his inventory by 10 kilograms during the test of the day. Now he's running around home and happy and nothing for money. Combat. Medya silently need bearing all of his teeth. everyone what he had to endure. He's right. Combat.
Fuck you, but it's not that shit.
We have a new surprise from the system and offer to participate in the test, which is practically impossible to survive. So, his advice is for an experience of then you continue.
It's place.
It's worth content to this scenario much more serious. Otherwise, you can already mistake. I have desired to mark the virus since I already began playing this experience. I do not about that stuff yes, the Albert Hall is in the door. Sit there, standing to attention. Combat not satisfied with the response. How does a fire reply? He was on a roll. Yes, sir, Comrade Colonel, no more conversations like that, said Petty. It was not enough for me, however, for the thrill of the challenge had offended me, and my core demanded his pride be grounded just the first friend he fight from his mother. And yet, it was combat is immediately leaving that not how one time like salvage. No doubt he's thinking that new comers might that vague surprise, the actually crashed. God, not of old age, God, that was so much that we ran to help the black haired guy dagger his kidney. Surely, God, eyes are in your bones and or have you forgotten how you nearly built your hands right? His expression made it clear he was feverishly trying to understand what I was talking about. His brain cells twitching away. Then came yes, there was also some notice as he walked past the college. I was enjoying watching his expression change. This kind. I delved into my inventory
Yes.
of the same dagger and showed his chest. He had nothing to say. He gasped for air like a fish.
This is called an accomplice.
And his face turned red in his anger. He just been put down in front of everyone. 3 arrows, Vegeta is precisely how much your life costs. And I could have terminated it if I tried to. I could see combat cottoning on to the truth, and I saw no reason not to do it. He followed you, and we watched him doing somersaults and darting from tree to tree like Rambo. Yes, you said one of the men present. Pardon, how many did you kill? Someone else asked. Veggie killed 3 that he didn't live for a place. Most more than that. Not wanting to recount any details, I dodged the question. Okay, let's move on. Combat said with a clap of his hand. Barb, we wanted to ask if you had any desire to help us thin out the crowd of zombies we're coming through. We have a foray into the city we planned for today, and yesterday's bastard raised such a racket it's going to take us a couple of days. It seems like. I called. The boxes were coming in, and still had 5 hours until the trading point became inactive. Any loot is mine. Yep, I said, laying down my conditions. Maybe you have. The response came from behind my back, but I ignored it. Deal. Combat extended his hand and I shook it. Then I'll go try to change the situation with the zombies. Why put it off? I'll give orders for you to be let out, and my people will go with you. Okay. It's important now for everyone to level up. Plus, you seriously need new boxes. All I said to kill zombies. I did not know why I decided to help them. Perhaps I considered it would be alright. They hadn't done me any harm, and I saw no evil intent in their attitude towards me. Even Maybe I didn't read this better than Tarzan. That was hard to be said that it's something. But if I did hard to be said. I have completely forgotten about this because I keep it from the store on the way back to the market. Even in the case of the street, all the orders are inspired from arts. She can be too. For sonnets, Tina typically form as under Melina's on 50 days. I probably should make a shopping spree on the floor. I'll leave it here for the time being and bring some more later. Linda's what that might be is total rebel sticking headboard in your house. Exasperated at the shoddy workmanship. By the way, I already told you, there are zombie jumpers. Easy to jump up. Thank you for all your help. And there's no need to cast your eyes shiftily around the room looking for a reason for me saying that because you want to. Smiling, she approached me and punched me in the shoulder. Once more, I was convinced I could be considered zombies then. I was like, on there we go. Liza hung on me in a tight embrace and whispered love. Right? My life would be simpler and more understandable in the company of zombies. I decided to start the zombie massacre from inside the building. A swarm of them was plastered against the barricades, and in a number of places they had managed to break through it, and almost reached the people. Soldiers had not been vehicles or defenses. They just weren't too effective against such a crowd of zombies.
Stop using guns. You know you're being nerfed by. You need to know about the nerf.
apartment spot in a small mountain. Sometimes zombies would not be able to reach me there, while I could easily pop the wall. Before embarking on the mission, I logged on to the training platform and bought 5 arrow books. I got to see what's mentioned performance, lost from the trees, possibly on my last purchase, and I now bought a couple. This makes the target also, someone has got 5 all my plans are not while they still weren't very strong, my assistance would be accepted on my terms, and I would be able to take a position in their system. I had to face the unfortunate truth of moments. Did not live long. At the end of the day,
Fine. I'll be lazy and not walk around and try to have fun. No fun around. Nigga, are you trying to have fun? Dude, that's